What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today, we're going to be looking at delayed C bet cutoff versus button for the big blind. So let's get started. Okay, what do you guys think we should do here?
Check. I'm done with the hand.
Do you think? Think we're checking?
I mean, I think you really want spades. You got king high. If it ever checks down, I mean, you might realize your river equity. They're going to check back pocket pairs still. So, I mean, it's worth something to check. It's not worth nothing. King high, I guess. So, at least in my mind.
Right. All right, so let's give it a check. Checking most of the time. King.
Beautiful. I think you got a value bet now. It's a spade. I like black bet. I go like what's that? Half pot, 40%? I go like 40%. I think it's worth 40%.
Is it? Wouldn't you want to have a better king?
Well, I don't think he has an ace. He doesn't have a lot of, he's got spades still, but not a ton. So
Got better
straight.
king. Got better kings than you. You would bet
Got
less.
worse. You got worse kings. He's still got probably has some pocket pairs he's still gonna call.
Pocket pair
Got
would have the flop in position.
they have to call, they have to hero call. So if you make it small enough, you can get called by enough worse. Smaller you make it, the worse they get, the deeper they gotta dig to find calls.
I think maybe 21%. I would probably just check. If I made it here checking all this, I'm just checking again.
Yeah, pure check.
God, VV puts came and left. Ay, 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 ay.
Well, I mean, you check the bluff catch, right? If you didn't value bet, I think you gotta call. Like in real life, people don't bluff enough. So like I'm always gonna value bet this. I don't care what the sim says because people aren't gonna bluff me. They're not gonna bet thin.
What you call this, and then you're
I don't know. Whatever.
the why are we here? It's the checking simulator. This is gonna be a check.
We get to go really big here, I think.
Half pot. We're trying to get called by something, so
Well, we have ace king and they don't. So like our bluffs, like our value can go really, really big, and our bluffs can go really big. But this isn't like this is like the next tier value. I still think it wants to go pretty big.
I disagree. When check, 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 you can't go that big. Trying
I
to
would
get
go.
by something, I would go half pot.
Oh, he's got plenty of two pair combos. He's got worse straights. He's got chop straights. I'd go at least 77. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes bigger. Yeah.
It's small because you're trying to get called by something, and even you're trying to induce, I guess.
Overbets reason. So
Like he's not checking down with anything good. When he's checking back on the flop, he's so capped. I think that's something we see like multi-way. Like whenever in position is checking back the flop, he's never checking back two pair, he's never checking back a set, he's never checking back like top pair, top kicker. So he becomes cap. So we're playing against a cap range. So against cap range, you don't need to go really big whatsoever, right?
still
And the
part of the strategy.
If the guy can have a really good hand to call you with, you can bet all sorts of sizes. But if you're playing a cap range,
You don't think ace king overbets there?
no.
I bet you does. It's
Why would it?
nuts.
Why would it? It's trying to get called by something.
You have the nut advantage. You're gonna have some of that. I gotta take a call.
What's up with the wizard? Why is it all white? Oh, the legend is here. So it's not going. Don't wait.
That's a
Yeah,
wrong hand.
it's never going more than 50. What takes king? But it is over betting some with king X hand.
But it's a wrong hand, right? Because we were looking at the king eight something.
Well, Ken was talking. Ken is always one hand behind, so
I'm here. The nine blocks calls, I think. That's why it went down with the lower king X. The nine block bets smaller because it blocks some of their calls.
Correct.
ace king is also going small, but the king X are going big. Okay. On this turn, do you bet? You don't bet. Checking simulator. You don't have a spade. It's never really it's cap once he checks. We're playing with a marginal hand against a cap range. All right, let me write this down quickly. If you are playing a marginal hand against cap range, check it. And you call. What? Do you not call? I guess you don't call.
What do you do against a capped range? Against an uncapped range then?
Honestly, Frank said we're gonna play this, and I listened to him
Mhm.
and realizing very quickly that it was a very bad idea. I've been blaming him from the start, actually,
Okay.
and now I'm living through the pain.
All
So
right.
basically, it's a delayed C bet spot. So when the button checks back on the flop, he's super capped, right? He never really has two pair, never really has top pair, top kicker, never really has a set.
Pretty
So
much.
playing
Yeah.
against a cat range on the turn, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm just pointing out that whenever we have a marginal hand, which is like
Mhm.
half of our range at this point, and then you're playing against a cap range, you just like end
Yeah.
up checking very heavy, no?
I
You
mean, I
think,
agree. I also think that like in general, marginal hands just tend to check against an uncapped range, capped range, whatever. It's like more like in general, like your marginal hands, you don't really want to put in money, right?
yeah.
So I don't think it's just like particularly like cap ranges, but maybe like you can say like even against cap ranges, like this kind of makes sense. Your marginal hand want to check. But yeah, this is just asking a question.
I see where you're coming from. Okay. Makes
Hmm.
sense. All right. So, I mean, we're just gonna check here so much, right?
We're gonna have a lot of barrels on the turn, just not this hand.
mean, ace high, I don't think we bet the
Yeah,
right size,
no,
right?
yeah, the hand don't want to bet.
This is like the driest spot in the book, is this not?
So here's the thing. Now we're really capped, right? So do you have to call any ace highs?
No.
And
We
I think the six is kind of bad to have, but I think some ace highs definitely have to call. So I'm not calling this
You're
one,
gonna
but I think we
call
got.
ace king, ace queen, ace jack, maybe, that's it, right?
I don't know.
No, I don't think you want to call those because you block his bluffs, right? Ace Jack.
Maybe like ace two, ace three,
Yeah,
ace.
ace
I
jack,
don't know which ones. I don't
yeah,
know. He's
Jack
gonna be
seems
bluffing
pretty
the bottom up.
bad.
So yeah,
Yeah.
ace king, I
I
think
mean,
probably has to
I,
call.
I think we have enough pairs to call. You know, we have like 10x and all that don't bet. So I'm in the, I
oh,
think
look
we
at
have
this,
lots of,
the king is back.
oh, actually it does call Ace Jacks for some reason. Maybe it's good, the
The
blocker.
right idea, anyway, it's a bad kicker, right? We know there's a bad,
Yeah.
and then, it's just the king here. Turns out it's the king, but you don't call ace eyes, really.
Oh, maybe this is why. Maybe because he's not bluffing draws. It's just that his value bets are all like Jack 10, Queen Jack maybe, or
Yeah,
Jacks,
this
stuff like that. That's why the Jack is really good.
yeah, he's bluffing the shitty aces, ace two, ace three,
Yeah,
ace
he's
four.
not really
See what?
bluffing the
He's trying to
what's it
get
called that?
ace high to fold with those. So,
Yeah, he's bluffing King 6, Queen, like 10, like 9 6, I guess, something like that.
Oh, so Ace Jack only blocks King Jack and Ace King blocks all the King X. Okay.
Yeah, his value bet will have like a Jack in it a lot, so I think that's why they like the Jack. Otherwise, generally you don't want to block the straight draws, but this is a special situation because it's a delay C bet. Very cool range.
7-6 raises. He has jams.
Yeah, it turns into a bluff. Nine
Black
seven, 8 7.
black and full
Uh,
houses, I guess. I don't know.
Basically any seven seems like a good bluff. Jack seven maybe calls. Usually you bluff with the river pair is usually a good thing. Because you block all the hands you could have improved with.
Might seem like a dull spot, but that makes you think about how the ranges work completely, which is always good.
right. Andy, what size would you go for? Haha, that's
Ace.
a trap. That's a trap, Andy. You can check you.
Yeah.
So is it again like 60% checking here and betting 1.4 sometimes?
What? Are you out of your mind, bro? It's an ace. You have top pair, top kicker. He checks back,
Mm.
never has a king, never has
Hmm.
an eight, never has anything good, never has his queen.
Yeah, let's check.
What do you want from the man?
What are you doing out there?
I would bet 2.35.
That's where I landed.
Now we are getting fancy.
So big, I mean so small.
You
Maybe
wanna go
bigger
bigger?
bet would be good. I don't know. Seems okay.
It's paired king. I wouldn't want to invest. I'm a little bit
You
shocked.
just you said he doesn't have a king, right? So
I, I
He
did, but
does.
can I really trust my assumption at 100%? I can trust it at 90%.
I mean, what are you getting called by? You're getting called by like gut shots, you're getting called by like some worse ace X, you're getting called by like flush draws.
Mhm.
I think like small bet doesn't really do too much against that range, you know? You want to make it indifferent, right? So you want to put some
But
pressure on like,
but you have a
and like,
jack, so you block those calls.
I think
it's
you,
okay. It's okay. It's no big deal. Jack is not a big, it's not a deal breaker. You have a strong ace, you know? Probably second strongest ace you can have, right? Only ace queen is better.
So you say
So
out.
maybe, I think I'd go bigger. I don't know.
I
Might
think
be
Bigger.
it's,
wrong.
I
Might
think
be
it's,
wrong.
sorry, go ahead.
That's a, yeah.
I
I was
think
just
if you had,
lurking.
oh, all right, I thought you said go
That's
ahead.
a, I'll be,
I think if he has a king that checks, it's gonna be the king of spades. So I think I'll have king of spades in range. I think the clubs can bet more freely.
We can't polarize that much. That's why I think it's small. Let's try small. Ah, it's even smaller.
60% check. Here we go. I wouldn't do it in game. I would also bet, to be fair.
So bet 33 and bet 20 is the same fucking thing. Like I hate this. This is one thing in GTO Wizard I hate. Like just give me one choice there. They're too close together.
What's the reasoning behind checking so much?
He's gonna have, I think he's gonna have king of spades in range. I don't think he's gonna bet all those because he wants us to pick up like a flush draw on the turn, right?
Will he bet any ace on the turn himself so we can check raise or check call?
He's gonna for sure bet ace X when we check.
I guess our hand is just not strong enough. We want to polarize this turn, but our hand is just too shit. It seems like that. Like you only want to bet king X and draws and boats. No, not even boats, but like mainly king X. Like an ace is just not strong enough. So we actually want to go to big size, but like not with this hand. That's
So king eight,
some small size, I guess,
yeah.
with
Flush
quads and stuff.
flush draw is very heavy. And this is like 125% overbet. So you were right. You said the very big bets, you were right. Just wrong end class.
Wrong hand class, yeah, for sure.
And then hands you wanna bluff, queen jack, queen 10, jack 10, especially when you have a spade in your hand.
Pocket deuces. Pocket deuce is a high frequency bluff.
Yeah, it works
Deuces,
there.
trees, fours, you know, you fold out better pairs. Very
With
nice.
the spade, right?
Yeah, with this spade would be ideal, you know.
Yeah.
Life continues. What's their flop strategy?
He's betting 50% small, 60%, 65%.
Uh, and then the
And
king, I guess,
we
does it like, can you look, I'm wondering if the spade matters, like if they bet the club more than the spade with their king X.
No, I don't think it matters.
What suits this?
Uh,
Clubs and spades.
it it
Wasn't
is
right.
very mixing.
Yeah,
Good.
I want the margins. Doesn't really matter.
Everyone is leaving? Oh my God. Frank, this is all your fault. We had somebody new. He left after 2 minutes. It was like, yeah.
Who
Yeah.
wants to do this node, man?
well,
Like honestly,
That's
such
marathon.
a unrewarding node.
from what we've seen yet, I would say just bet 1.5 or check. Close enough. Okay, but go a little bit.
Lots of checking out of position, especially with the flush.
We call this guy first. No, oh, that's ambitious.
95.7%.
Ambitious raise. Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay. All right, let's try this one. Oh, did we check this board? Thought, I guess we were gonna check raise.
I'm torn here between bet really big or check. They still have, they're gonna have bet mostly all their over pairs already, right? We check a lot of over pairs. I think we might get away with a big bet here. We got a gutter. Block suits.
I also like 125 here.
I think it's checking maybe.
One
I don't
Yeah,
twenty.
it will
know.
check and it will polarize here, right?
There's no way you
Seems like a
overbet.
weird
What's
it's
the
like a
reason
weird board
behind
for us to
your bet?
check, you know.
Why would you want to polarize her, Bob?
Clean up a lot.
So he can still have a lot of overcards. He can have ace high. He can have flush draws, a lot of flush draws, and that's a good reason to bet big, in my opinion. He has to fold any ace then or a lot of aces, and we also want to give him any chance to draw to any overcard because sixes is just sixes, right?
Sorry,
Any
Bob.
overcard is bad.
Seems like
Yeah,
a great
Do
strategy.
you think this is a mergey bet? Do you think we get some better to fold and worse to call?
It's pairs.
no.
How would we bet not small?
Sevens is not folding, I think. So
Do you
I
think
don't
they
think you can get anything.
fold like
Can't fold
eight
sevens,
without a
right?
spade or heart?
No, man. I think it's in the deuce pairs, the eights is still like super strong, right? I doubt you can get to fold it.
We get nothing better to fold.
I
Yeah.
think here my preferred sizing would be 3.9. What about you guys?
I'm checking.
Checking I thought
Like
about checking, but I thought it was too nitty to check on this texture with this
no,
hand.
I think it's our range just wants to check, you know. It's not about a hand per se.
Yeah, but
I
my
know.
Like
first
our range wants to
check
check.
that
So
I'm like sixes with
yeah,
apart precisely with the redraw to the five. There's so very likely we'll have the best hand now. Very likely a bad river comes. I mean, I'm
yeah,
betting.
you make a lot of good points. Like sixes, I can see betting as well, but like I think still your range just checks a lot on this turn. So
I'm
probably
gonna,
majority check and some betting, you know? Maybe.
Let's
Not
see.
sure.
no, 6 or 9 for me.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
six.
there you go. Kind of majority check, but like lots of betting as well. So fair enough.
Checking was right. Checking was right.
Even 200%.
Overbet was right. Bob was right with his size.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to bet, you could be polar, right? In that sense, I just thought
I gotta
checking
see their
would be
call range. I'm just
like your
curious.
range just can't be betting. Like, what bluffs do you have? You bet that turn over bet. It's very hard to find
Six
bluff.
X, right? Your king six want to do this, right? So
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, no,
yeah,
true, exactly.
king six,
Like
queen six,
so,
jack six.
a few hands, yeah, true, true. King six, like over betting, king nine maybe, stuff
Okay.
like 10
So
7.
And
it's
what's their range when we do bet this
very
size? I'm just curious how they react to that bet size.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, let's check that out.
I'm
'Cause
wondering if
I want
this
to see
is a
if,
merge because I still feel like we
yeah,
might get some better to
I
fold.
want to
So
see if the sevens and eights this fold. You know, it's kind of crazy. But this size, like 200%, 125, maybe this folds. You know,
indifferent at least, right? Some of them,
let's see, let's see.
no.
No, no, it's super printing with the pairs at least. But you do get like some draws to fold. I think like a lot of flush draws seem like they're folding. Maybe not sure. Some flush draws at least get to fold. But yeah, pairs are just like what else do you call it if you fold the pairs, right? Like super strong.
So you get pocket fives to call. So,
Fair,
oh man, that's
fair
nice.
enough.
You're
Yeah.
not getting a lot of worse to call there.
There you go. Pocket fives. I mean, a lot of ace high will call
Oh,
you, right? So
the king sixes that were raising, was that just the spades and the hearts? Or was it all king
no,
sixes?
I think no, that's calling, right? So I think it's all the other oh yeah, it's the one with the flush draws. I thought the other ones would get in there, but maybe not because
Okay.
we're out of position. I guess that's why. In position, you usually see more checking back, and
Yeah.
you barrel the other suits more so.
We get it in because we have the six of hearts and we're a little bit more protected, or do we respect the backdoor flush? I would
Maybe
probably
we
get it
just
in here.
maybe just check. I don't know.
Would you?
It's a scary board, man.
Yes, but people are gonna check back so much here. No?
So like, what do you want to
True.
do with like aces and like stuff like overpairs now? I don't want to do any of this. Like, I thought
Yeah.
maybe 14.
Like our range is just checking, right? Like what do we do other than
Okay,
check here?
again, I would overbet again.
Okay, okay.
Like, what do you do with
Sure, sure.
like break spade, 8-7 a spade?
Check.
You check 8-7 a spade here. I would
No, no,
never.
I said, oh, 8 7 of spades.
Yeah, I gotta ignore
Uh,
it here.
probably. I mean, do we bluff it? I don't know, man.
I go 14.5.
Seems a little weird, but maybe we do. I wouldn't bluff on the hearts. Maybe I just give up and check fold. But maybe I'm a nit.
I'm small.
Ooh, what is this? Yeah, sick. We're both wrong. That makes
Small.
sense. Like this kind of makes sense because it's like it's a weird board, right? Like an ace is a straight, so not that much jamming. Like the jamming components from the full houses, but like you see, like lots of checking. Like our ranges is pretty fucked.
Mm-hmm.
8 7 of spades, check fold, right? 8 7 of spades.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, you gotta check. Yeah, check fold, check fold.
Maybe I'm a little bit too ambitious with my 8-7 here.
You can't just bluff into the heart completer because you have spades, right? So like he has hearts a lot, and then you're just jamming into like a flush. So gotta be careful.
Right? Zero spades are doing it. 6-5 here.
Yeah,
We
maybe
shared,
6 5 is a 6 5 is
And
a straight.
you know what I think drives down your all-in strategy too is that we share the nuts. We both have pocket fives, right? So, but I think when the nuts are shared, that drives your sizes down.
Ooh, true. Yeah, like cutoff versus button usually like very similar ranges, right? So like a lot of it is ends up like both of you have kind of like the nuts and you kind of check.
Yeah, when sixes bet a third pot there, are they folding to a shove or are we calling it off?
Probably call, I guess. Seems like it's a little too good to fold, right?
I don't think
Maybe
you,
Yeah.
indifferent. Maybe
I don't,
indifferent. You have like flushes and stuff to call.
I don't think
Are
it's,
we not are we not better just jamming then?
No, because once you jam, we fold out all their ace X, which is not what we want, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Probably that's what the strategy is doing.
it's tough because population, I think on this river particularly, they're not gonna bet for 10 value often enough.
Mhm.
Are they gonna
Yeah.
call it?
I
Tough.
think they will call ace X, but like they will not be betting it. So I think what the solver is doing is like very sound. Just bet half pot,
Yeah, and
and
inducing,
then
inducing.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so there must be a pattern for overbetting the turn, right?
I think this is a bet big, but not over bet. Because again, like the nuts are shared. I still think we want to polarize, but I don't think we overbet.
So when do we want to overbet? Basically?
Paired boards, we checked out of position, I think. We did it on the king board. At least we polarized a little bit, and that one, our pocket pair in hand
Well, I
could
mean,
have been beaten. That was on the 4 high board.
I mean, a
well,
lot of the turn probes are polarized, but it's not always, right? It's like when don't
well,
you want to
I think
polarize?
that's right because whenever you check out of position, you're gonna have a bunch of trip. So those are gonna wanna bet big on pair boards out of
But
position.
it wasn't overbet. It was like 83%, I think. But it's still a big bet.
Something always that happens too, like when the turn changes the nuts, who has the nuts, like when it turns, like again here, like it's just this turn card, we're gonna be end up sharing the nuts with our opponent a lot. So I don't think we get over bets because of that.
And we can add in position.
Like the nuts before this was sets, and like now they're straight. So like the sets are no longer the nuts.
I mean, a large thing is that he doesn't really have Jack 10, right? Does he have Jack 10 off? I don't know. Probably a little bit, but like we have it at full frequency. And we also have like 90 suited. I guess he has it as well. So seems like a good board for us, right? Because we open off to 9x. We're gonna have some two pairs.
What other texture do we think, like flop texture that goes check check that we overbet on?
Like 9x, you know. That's definitely
Pair? That's on
yeah,
pair there.
the 9 is extremely good for the cutoff and not as good for the button.
Okay,
Yeah, we
so
When it's
open a
cut off
when,
versus
9x, they don't
button.
defend it. We open 9XO, they don't defend 9XO, so.
Yeah, like we have the advantage when it comes to the 10 9, 9 Jack 9 and all that. So when the board is like 9 something something or 9 9 something, it's like usually you see a lot of overbetting from the cutoff.
so we
Still
say,
think this is worth like 83 here, though, I think.
I mean, if you look at the reports, it's like pretty, you can see it pretty clearly. But
I
you can
think it,
try 9 9x, then go to the turn, 9 6 4. Yeah, maybe this works. I don't know. Seems pretty decent for the cutoff. You can try like a small card, maybe. Yeah, look at reports. Yeah, see like lots of overbetting on the turn. Like a deuce, you overbet a lot, like six, you overbet a lot.
If you make
Just
the 9 more
generally
connected, like if you make it 9-8 brick, 9-7 brick,
try like a nine paired, I think is interesting. There's yeah, like see the nine drops on a turn, you can probably uh fair bit of overbetting. But still lots of checking, like not like you just go crazy because still have positions, still have very similar ranges. But quite a bit of overbetting.
okay, so the 200% is used the most when the four pairs, the bottom card
Yeah.
pair.
change it to 9-8-4.
I think it reduces the number
9-8-5.
of sets you can have.
Then again, is he even checking a set of fours on the flop?
Wait,
True.
a deuce here is a brick, right? Or is it this?
Yeah, it should be a break. I mean, 3 5 gets there, but not really relevant, right?
Aren't those straight cards here?
Yeah, but I don't think he has that many straights on some of these ones.
Yeah, it's like a wheel that is gonna runner backdoor sometimes. Is that what this is representing, or it's more like just a brick deuce, brick three? Because like deuce and three are very often like total brick for both ranges.
Yeah, pretty
What do you
brick
think
because the
is
deuces
the
will fold in a
factor?
flop. Wait, no, we didn't bet the flop, so maybe they bluffed the flop. I don't know. It seems pretty brick to me. The flop.
If you look at like, I think if you look at like 9-8-0, I think there's a decent amount of turn cards that are going to make you want to size up. Because there's some connectivity, so like a queen, uh, like six, like stuff like all in between there. I think that make the board more dynamic on a turn is when you're gonna have more bets, big bets.
I thought it's
Mm.
more about that we have overpairs, that we have more overpairs, and that's why I prefer small cards. But yeah, I mean, it's also using the king. I don't know.
So overbet
It's
when
like
the
when you can have like a double gutters too a lot, right? So if you have a texture where there you have a lot of gut shots on the turn, you're gonna have a lot of big bets, I think, right?
why the king? King here.
Yeah, yeah, don't get it.
I mean,
Honest.
it's not really overbetting that much, you know.
Right.
Like every card is overbetting except ace, seven, five. But you know, so it's not that king is any special.
Uh, Also, just about what you said, Cap. I think when we are out of position and a lot more draws come in, that's really bad for us. Because in position has an easy time to just call.
That's why we polarize, right?
Yeah, when we do bet, we want to
Yeah.
be more.
That's true. Yeah.
So should we check here?
No, I bet 83.
Oh,
I'd
is
rather
this
have the ace of
hand?
diamonds, but I mean, eight of diamonds is gonna have to be good enough.
Why bet 83 here?
We got a gutter and an overcard and a diamond. Like,
But do we get better hands to fold here? Because I don't think so.
you're gonna get pocket twos to fold, pocket threes to fold, pocket fours to fold, pocket fives
Okay,
probably fold.
true.
You're gonna get, I mean, ace. I don't have ace king, so yeah, ace queen's not fold. You're not getting any better aces to fold, but you're gonna get some pocket pairs to fold.
Mm,
I feel like it's not enough. I wouldn't
I don't
bet
know.
here.
I'm kind of feel like checking. Maybe you can bet this one and check ace nine. I don't know. Maybe betting is not that bad. Might be
Six
good.
X and 7X might start
Because
getting it different.
yeah, we don't really want to check call this as well. So maybe this is bluff. I think maybe betting is kind of good.
What size would you go for, Ken?
83.
Yeah, seems about right, right?
Oh,
Oh no, it's just check.
ace of diamonds. I bet it does with the ace
This
of
stupid
diamonds.
note is just all is check, check, check. So boring.
It's probably you probably need the ace of diamonds. I thought I said that ahead of time. When I'm in game, I'm like, I need the ace of diamonds. I'm like, fuck, I don't care. I got the eight good enough. I'm going for it.
Talked myself
Honestly,
into
it all started with the Warsaw Pact, and now here we are playing turns.
yeah, super like so much checking, man. 72%.
There is a lot of
A lot
overbetting.
of big betting. Is ace eight? There's a sliver there. Is that the ace of diamonds? Yeah. So you need the ace of
As
diamonds. The eight's no good. And I kind of
like
know.
I have a question. Have you ever seen any example where we don't polarize the turn out of position? Like mostly every turn we've played so far is like there's like a degree of like
Yeah,
It's
it's pretty
like,
common.
going like overbet
okay.
or check or like with some small betting but not the range. Like mostly overbet and check, right?
There's been some small bets, I think.
Which one? That's like predominantly small. Like, yeah, there's some small bets, but like oh no, there was one, right? There was one the ace jack on the king king whatever it was. It was
Yeah,
like king X and ace on the turn. And that one was small, yeah. That's a good point. So pair of boards, maybe you could be a bit more careful with polarizing.
I don't think so because it's what we wrote. Out of position will have a bunch of trips, so his trips at least are gonna polarize every time. Minimum,
Wait, then
which
oh
Is
means
no,
it
no.
the
also
half a polarized
Oh,
triangle
I
on
got it
top
wrong.
of
It's
the
because that one only the ace X would go small, but everything else was going big. All the king X was going big. So it's still polarizing. I just sort of like tunnel vision on the fact that our hand wanted to go small. But I
yeah.
forgot that the whole range was like this last thing, you know. So yeah, just polarize.
Okay,
And now what do you do? Overbet.
I mean, I fold.
I'm folding.
Yeah, I'm folding too. For a second, I'm like, God, just do something crazy. I'm like, that's awful. This might be a bet big. Gotta bluff your twos and threes.
Especially with the spade.
Yeah, because it blocks some continues. I guess they have ace five, it blocks ace three of spades, so.
It's my impression, I'm not sure yet, but it's my impression that whenever this turn comes in, brings in a low straight, it's gonna make us go very aggressive because he doesn't have very much of low straight in his range. Think that's right?
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't have 8-6, right? So
We don't have too many 8-6 here as well.
no. We don't have it.
I would check here. I think it's mostly a checking
I
game.
think it's
We
mostly
would check
check and
ace
then
high.
some bluffing. Yeah.
Pocket threes are gonna mostly check, but there is gonna be some weight of
Yeah.
that, and it's
I
gonna
think
use
it's
the
some
spade
bluffing
when
for
it
sure, right?
does.
We
I
have the
think
gut shot as well
based
as
on
backup.
everything we've seen today, this is an overbet.
It's like 125, 200% or check.
Ugh,
Okay, so is this check? Fuck.
Lovely.
it does bluff, but it bluffs small for some reason here. Some weight. Usually they're the worst pairs. Twos are doing it
Maybe your
more.
hand is pretty strong though. So like it just thinks it's
Yeah,
good
it's
enough.
just not doing it.
It's just not good to bluff this one. You can bluff ace three, I guess. Ace six is your bluff. Eight. Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff with better gutters to bluff. Trees has showdown value, so we can check it.
So
It's like
need a
annoying, you know? It's annoying we don't get to bluff this
or king high.
one.
Or back, no, it's actually backdoor spades, is it? Yeah.
No, uh, some bluffing with the rest, right?
Yeah.
King eight, even without the spade.
Mhm.
Yeah, even without the spade. Could have got shot, you know?
I'm surprised the twos and threes aren't bluffing here. I don't know why.
We just had better bluffs. And like the solver just wants to bluff like other stuff with gut shots. Ooh, this is awkward.
I mean, he doesn't have a ton of sixes left in range, right? So, I mean, I think we got a value bet.
Or what side?
What?
I don't
Uh,
know. Half pot.
ah,
Seems okay.
I don't think he has that many six to worry about. So, goes bigger.
nah,
It's worth
yeah,
way more.
it's like way bigger because it's check, 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 right? So he's like super capped.
Yeah.
And when he's super capped, you kind of get to do.
I'd reap these spots a lot. I lose a lot of value in some of these spots,
And
but
he has the
it's
hero. He has the
Oh,
hero, like whatever queen X he has. He has the hero, like some
okay.
even though it's sort of
ace
like a
five, I
four
think.
liner, they just lack the six. So you
Yeah.
They
gotta
just don't
be
have anything
better.
to call us if they don't. They do it this way.
I was hoping he would go big with ace three and king three here because we've seen that in the other hand where the bottom pair came on the river. Oh, that was a check raise then, right?
He bluffs the king deuce pretty big though.
Uh, too bad.
Oh.
Queen.
But let's see, on what other turns? What kind of turn? Is this a turn we can overbet?
No.
I would say yes.
I would say most definitely. Why are you saying
We
no?
have
So we have a bit more quads, I guess. We have aces and kings, but so it's not much of our range is going to go big. You know, your big bet's driven by the nuts, right? So
Wait,
it's
he has no quads, right? We have all the quads.
Yes.
This is very interesting.
well, he has some 9x,
I
right? You can
say
check back
overbet.
some.
Yeah, I say overbet as well.
I
120.
mean, I don't know. This is like the dream spot, right?
No, if we're over betting
But then
this, I
again,
think
would you
we're
really want
over
to
bluffing.
overbet your quads? So yeah, sorry. Like
I
the,
would maybe, but I'm stupid.
now that I think about it, it's like overbet. Yeah, he's capped, but like, do we really want to overbet our quads? So maybe you just go like small.
yeah. overbetting.
Could you click on ranges real quick just to see like the hits up, just to see who has more quads? If you go to like hands, put that in French. You
Yeah.
go to like hands, in French. Ah, there you go. So quads, we have 2.6% quads. He has,
Having
he has some quads, 0.6%, but like, we have the advantage. Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
more full houses.
Yeah, true, true. So he does have some good hands. So maybe we underestimated his range.
He still
It's
has
like
the equity. He still
50-50 in
has the
equity,
equity advantage.
Yeah, 50-50 in equity. So surprisingly good. I guess he has a lot of pairs, right? A lot of strong hands that flatted. So should
Yeah.
be pretty good for
Con
him.
condensed, right?
Condensed. We're like a bit wider.
We gotta get ace high to fold now. There's just no other option. Gotta try something. So I will go for
Now bluff further down in range.
no, this is perfect.
You're over bluffing.
You get better king eyes to fold, you get ace high.
It's a full house on the board, dude.
That's smaller than.
We're not getting king highs to fold, right? They board. All in,
That's
all in.
My God. I got to see this. This feels like a huge, like we're over
This is
bluffing.
this call, jam range, call range, I think.
yeah.
Jam range, call range.
But did he fold? I think he actually folds.
He not call? What the hell?
No, he didn't call.
What a fish. Okay, maybe this is BBB will be like more of a this first spot.
Oh,
Okay, doesn't really call
oh,
range, but he calls quite a bit.
he's folding when he has a back blocker, which is the king or the queen.
Ah, yeah, yeah. So he folds the bad blockers like Queen Jack.
Population's never calling with king high here, right?
We jam range, yeah, we
Yeah,
jam
they're
range.
not.
I've never seen anything like this.
I mean, this is like when the full house is completed and then you get the act first. Usually it's like a lot of the jam range stuff happens then when you have like the advantage. But I would assume he would call a bit more often, but maybe it's a bit too big. It is like 5x spot, right? 5.3 x spot. That's why you only call like 30%, 60%. Gotta fold some stuff.
All right, so the top card pairs. Can we overbet? I would say we can.
Not with his hand, I think.
No.
I think big bet's not too many over bets. And I'm not using the same anyway.
Do we really want to start blasting off with 8-6 high, no equity?
Probably small bet size. Paired
Like
board
position.
pairs, does it play like a flop, like a paired flop board where you bet small usually?
I feel like this is the spot where we can go for it. Maybe not
I
the hand,
think I think
but
I'm
I feel like
checking.
having clubs there is great. I think you just don't want to have cards.
I don't know. I think we just don't have any equity.
It's bottom of range, so if we're gonna have zero equity bluffs, this is gonna be in there. Yeah, I would have did it, but just trying to make the
We
argument
have we
for it.
have better stuff to bluff. Stuff that actually have out when we get called.
Oh yeah, out of position, we don't, the in position uses the zero equity bluffs way more, right? Like
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
out of position doesn't do
in
that.
position,
Yeah.
you're in position, right? So it's like you can
Yeah.
still bluff reverse. This one we're like blasting off into the abyss in the sense. So it's like the guy just sits there with like an ace, and we're like first to act. So I don't think you can bluff too much. We do have some, I think, like 5-4 suited of diamonds, maybe just starts betting, but not that much.
We on the turn here, or is this river?
River.
River, I think.
all over the place.
And mainly buffs, gut shots,
Oh.
open-ended pairs, like low
I
pairs, and that's
feel
why
like
the
there's
king
a lot
highs.
less overbetting here now. Why?
Yeah, on this turn we have a lot of value, right? Because he doesn't have ace X, we have a lot of ace X, and now we can bluff more.
I think he does have some ace X,
Ye-
checking back a lot.
Yes. No.
But still, like I get your point. Like you have quite a bit more.
See that our jack is going for thin value with the small size of 1.4 chips. And so we get some bluffs that get to go for the small size as well. And so if you throw 1.4 chips in here with 8-6, like that's the solution we saw in the solver.
Yeah, interesting.
But
A cheap
generally,
bluff.
yeah, like you're mimicking your value with a jack when you bet 1.4 chips.
Plus, you got aces that does that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Your aces are going to take largely the bigger size,
Aces, kings,
which are going to be
some
your
ace X.
equity-driven bluffs, right?
Mm.
So when you look at Queen 10, it's using the same size as aces.
Yeah, the prime bluffs would be our gut shot. Like those are betting full frequency gut shots and open ended. Like you look at 10-7, 10-8, Queen 8, Queen 10, King 10. Like every single one of them is like full frequency betting. So I think that's quite
Yeah.
important to take note of.
Yeah,
Like at this
8-6
spot, you just want to pick your bluffs from your gut shot out of
Yeah.
position.
8-6 has no direct equity, so it just doesn't get to do it.
The problem is you can't really, if you check and he bets, you're kind of fucked, right? If you're gut shots, you don't really want to check call. So you're like, oh shit, like what do I do now if I check and then he bets? So you actually just want to bet it yourself and then maximize like your full equity there.
Yeah.
Like makes sense, right? Like once you check, you just lost the hand. But when you bet, you still have like, some stuff you can do.
And on a jack turn, we go back to the checking game and don't do anything.
No, we overbet. Because the middle card pairing is something we found out. In the middle card pairs, it's happening at 125. Same here.
So now you see
But
all the jacks and all the gutters there going bananas, but now all the aces are betting 1.4 chips for small value.
Yes.
very small part of the strategy on this instance. All right, turn one, check, check. I guess we check again.
Hmm.
8 high check, let's go.
Hmm.
We don't need, yeah,
We
don't need to punt off.
can
the
bluff with like a spade in our hand, Not
Yeah.
really. I think we're checking, right?
With this part of the range, I would say yes. Like there's no point. But what about pocket deuce?
Seems good to bet pocket these.
What about Jack 10 off with one diamond?
Check 10 off with one diamond. Oh,
Definitely overbet.
probably just bet pretty big. Maybe not overbet too much. Big
So
bet.
I'm trying to find patterns here. What do you think is the pattern? So
If you have like no hands to bet, then you just bet your low pocket pair on these disjoint board.
I think the pattern is brick turn that doesn't shift equity too much. And also like any brick turn, undercard.
I think when when the board becomes more dynamic, is gonna be the most, like, again, here you'll have, the more draws that you have available, up and down the board, I think makes you size up the most.
Also, I noticed one thing, like we don't bluff that much ace highs as compared to like, let's say button versus big blind, where you're bluffing a lot of ace highs. Like this node, we just like tend to check our ace highs, I think, for some reason. So like I don't see like ace deuce of spades going crazy, if you know what I mean. So that's something I noticed.
So
Indeed.
if the top card gets counterfeit, would we overbet? Like Philibus and eights?
No.
No, probably not because the ace, both of us have it, right? So once we both have it, then we don't get to do that kind of shit. Yeah, Jack 10 does overbet, but still a lot of smaller bets because it's open ended, right? Don't you rarely see open ended, just pure overbetting, just because there's so much equity.
Look how narrow was our value range. Ace queen was mixing.
Yeah, ace queen second pair, right?
No, on the other board. On the
Oh,
ace
okay.
on turn.
What board was that? I don't recall. And ace queen was like what, top
Um,
pair?
Ace instead of queen.
This
Oh, okay,
board.
okay. Oh, okay. King 8 6 ace. Oh, excuse me.
So LP, I'd be interested in looking at like three like low cards or like mid and low cards and then an ace on the turn because then they have more pairs between the high card on the board and the ace that have to defend. So if it's like lower, go like nine high and then like nine whatever, and then an ace because now they got to defend tens, jacks, queens, whatever they have them. They're 9x suited, they're whatever. Like they got to call a lot. So yeah, I mean, you get 200%, 10% of the time here. So even if you make the board lower, it might even drive that up. If it's like try like eight high or seven high low boards and the ace turn. And that gives them even more pairs they have to defend. I have it down here. Maybe because of the two. It's a two like a four. Yeah, went up. So if you like the greater the gap between the high card on the board and the ace, the more overbets you get on that ace. Right? Because that changed the nuts. We have like on the other boards, we all have the same sets. But when the ace comes, we have a set of aces now, and they don't. So it probably would do that maybe even on a king.
So we overbet the most on a jack. Jack turn followed by queen turn. And then it's a 10. So why is the jack the best to overbet?
Maximum amount of draws.
Brings in more straight draws, right? That's
Like the
Why
sticky
on?
turn, basically.
You might have more two-pair like Jack eight suited, King Jack all, you know?
The jack connects with the 8 to make the inside straights for 10-9 now, right? So there's the maximum amount of draws with the least completed equity.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I feel like we could overbet on 8, 7, 6. And 4 and 10 and 9. So that's a 7, so that's pretty good. Do we want to overbet with ace jack? I don't think so. So I knew it was an overbet turn, but with ace high, really?
Because most of our range is checking, so we're betting infrequently and large.
Okay, so a 4, a 9, a 10, a 3 is actually pretty good. Then the ace, the deuce. Okay, so the cards I said, the 6, a 7, and 8 are actually not overbet. Like the 7,
Why is the ace overbetting here? Does anyone know? Frank, maybe?
What's the question?
The ace is overbetting here on the turn.
What ace?
Ace X, ace diamonds, ace hearts, ace
Show me.
spades.
Why you have overbets on ace, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Because that's against what we write down a little bit.
is it? I mean, we have doesn't have ace 10.
So we were just talking about it, right?
It's-
Like the ace changes the nuts. Like on the turn, we have aces. They don't ever. Like they don't have pocket aces. And I think the more disconnected the high card on the flop is from the ace, the more often you get those overbets and the bigger they can be. We kind of just went through that.
yeah, you said that, but I kind of missed it. So when,
So the nuts change. The ace, like we all have the sets, right? We all have fours, not sets of fours, nines, and tens, right? But the ace now gives that changes the nuts. Now there's no straights available. So the nuts is a set of aces. We are the only ones with a set of aces. That's what I think is the dynamic going on with that. And then the more disconnected, I believe it is, the ace from the high card on the flop, the higher frequency you get to size up because now they have all those other pairs and some weights in between that have to defend.
They also, because they check back on the flop, are going to lack the 2 pairs that contain an ace. They're not going to have ace 10 ever here, and they're not going to have ace 9 at good frequency. So now we have the nuts with sets of aces that they don't have, and sets of 10s that they don't have.
Very
And
good
we
point.
have aces up that they don't have.
Very good. Yeah, that's really good. I always forget about that. Yeah.
So our range is our range is much stronger than their range here.
So even though we don't overbet the set of aces, obviously, we doesn't want to, that does give us the nut advantage, the ace.
Yeah, like at best they're defending a lot of single paired hands here against us with two pairs and sets at really good frequency.
I don't think the turn has to be disconnected. I think just disconnected from in terms of high card. So like if it's a draw heavy board, you're still gonna want to have the overbets on the ace, right? But it's the distance between the top set and basically the top set and the second set might be a way to think about it. Because they have pairs in between that can call.
So now that he called over bet, we just check, right? We don't fire again.
Hate bluff at ace high, but the jack's a pretty good blocker. I guess we have to, but we're the bluff jacks. I guess the ace doesn't have to because you want to try to get ace size to fold. But yeah, I mean the jack's pretty good to bluff. Probably just not this hand. We're gonna jam some jack X, I imagine.
Call this guy, Ken?
No.
Why not? Do we have a lot of overbetting when a flush is brought in on the turn?
Do we?
I'm asking.
I don't think so. A lot of small bets. Probably. Small and medium.
Hmm.
Did you try connecting this flush to make a straight available? So like did you look at like eight of spades? That might drive it up to more of a medium bet.
Would you say?
Eight of spades on the turn or wherever, just put it on there. Yeah. Might make more medium bets maybe because there's straight draws. Not
No.
really. Way more checking.
So bet small? No, check. Okay. Right. Do you overbet this river? Just check. Hmm. Okay.
Feels like a good barrel. He blocks spades and hearts to continue. I mean, king high is pretty high up, but I still feel like you gotta bluff this. Got the gutter.
Well, it's pretty easy, right? So pair board, we have a ton of trips. Our trips are gonna wanna, all of our jack are gonna wanna overbet here. Then we wanna overbet hands like queen 10, jack 10, queen 10, king queen, when we have a spade in our hand. So this is it. So
It feels
this
Yeah.
good.
could be an
And bet
easy,
small.
no, it's an overbet, Bob.
No, I'm saying bet small with ace high. If you
Yeah.
have a pair of aces,
So the
something
problem
like
with
King
this.
high just ends up being like has showdown value in these spots, I guess.
Yeah, the
Kind of
problem with
annoying.
this one, king queen
Eight,
just is winning here too often.
Yeah, the queens could go for it. The queen Broadway draws. The king just is so good still.
and that what I meant with bet small with ace X.
Yeah.
Right, I was right with queen 10.
Yes.
But not king queen. King 10 is a good one with the king of spade. Queen 10. A little bit of queen 9, that's ambitious. We'll check again with our best king eye.
I think so. Got him.
Nice. One a pot.
So can we say that there's always a portion of our range that doesn't really want to bluff on delayed currency bet? Like the best showdown hands, like either whether it's ace high or king eye, right? Like here was king queen. King queen doesn't really want to bet, but I feel like king deuce probably was betting.
How much equity did king queen have? Let's check. Like, look at the equities. See how I was trying to figure it out. It's all been in the math.
But to me, it's more a question of whether or not those, see, this is exactly what's going on. King deuce, king three, king four, get better kings to fold. They get ace highs to fold. King queen never gets a better king to fold. So I think that's why we lean towards checking those. So think like our best showdown hands are going to check a lot whether our best ace size based on the texture. Monotone boards. Are we gonna do a lot of overbetting on monotone boards? I don't think we do.
You might get to go thin value here with the spade. You might get the thin, might be a thin value bet, like 20%.
Whenever on monotone board in position doesn't see that, and then the board pairs, I think it's really, really good for out of position. So I
Yes.
think like this is a spot where we want to bet a lot on the turn. So
That's a good point.
Probably not with our best unpaired hand though.
as I just wrote, right, our best showdown hands, they just check. Yes, that's that.
Yeah.
But like this, like if you really wanted to, you could go for thin value with this exact hand. Like if you go small enough, you can consider it quote unquote like a thin value bet, but you're still going to get called by worse.
Well, this here seems to be like the overriding pattern.
Yes, the overarching, yes, heuristic.
Well, part of the problem though is if you go for this as a value bet, you also value own yourself against a guy who has a 7 or 6 who's never gonna fold for this size, right?
I can barely hear you, Peter.
Oh, by the way, he
I
has
mean,
no overbetting. Probably because of the flush.
Yeah. If you take this really small sizing with ace king, to get value from like the queen of spades, you're also just value owning yourself against a guy who has like 7s or 6s or pocket 3s or anything like that too.
Then again, is pocket sevens or sixes checking the flop here in
Not pocket
position?
7s or 6s. A guy with
Oh,
like king 7.
oh, I see. Yeah.
Because yeah, like king 7 of spades, or is dying to check back.
So like when these king bets are, it's definitely a value bet, right? It's definitely has over 50% equity on that turn. So it's definitely like a thin, it is going for thin value. Just the key is you have to bet small enough to make it a value bet. Start going bigger, then you're value owning yourself.
Yeah.
It's not worth that much.
Yeah, you have to keep in like the jack of spades, right? And stuff like that. And maybe even like the smaller spade.
I want to say that if you have your notifications on Discord, I hate you.
That was me. I have most of them all turned off, but like sometimes like I have leaks that I can't find them. I don't know where it comes from.
Oh my God, the call, the dirty call.
Mhm.
Okay, can we overbet here?
No. I mean, descent or overall?
Would you not overbet with like your best queens here? This is a break turn, right? Why do you say no?
What do you ask about descent?
You.
Who? Who are you talking to?
Is the nature of the turn allowing us to overbet?
There will be some.
Hmm.
So I think you have like your like
Yeah.
king 3 suited, king 6 suited. Like I'm just thinking of the bluffs. Like we have value, right? We know what the value is, but then your bluffs are going to be like some of your high low that connect to the straight, especially with the over to the queen. So some of your like ace 6, ace 3. Well, ace 3 is a straight, right? King 6, jack 6, probably like stuff like that. And then you have your 6, 7, 7, 8 kind of crap. And since we check a lot on the flop, we have plenty of value left in our. We still have queen. We still have pairs of queens. We still have sets. We're gonna have made 2 pairs sometimes, like queen 5 suited, right? Like, so I think some. It's just not gonna be a lot here. I wouldn't do it with this hand.
Yeah, we have bad blockers. We have the cards we want him to fold.
Getting a coffee. Let's see.
And any pocket pair between the queen and the five is betting small. Is that a theme? What's going
Checking
on
a
every
lot, I
time?
think.
Let's check.
Oh, but yeah, but they can also bet small.
They are 6x lit up over bet.
It looks to me as if, I guess you guys even did it like tons of times, like block bets on the river. And it oftentimes looks like that here, where you have like one range which wanna bet big, and one range that wanna bet small. On most boards we looked at.
So it's weird because you don't want to overbet if the flush comes in. But if the flush doesn't come in, your flush draws are overbetting. Right? We've seen this over and over that if it's the 5 plus spade, we're not gonna have overbets, right? So now the flush are gonna bet small, no more overbetting. But then if the flush doesn't come in, it's like our flush draws are just going for it. 10-9 a spade, Jack-9 a spade, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, they all have robust equity and can draw out a new pair on a guy who's like sheriffing us with a 4 or a 5 here.
But we don't do it with the ace high ones.
No, because they're winning sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So again, what? Okay, so wait. So let's see turns. So the turn we 200% the most is an offsuit ace, followed by an offsuit king. So counterfeit to top pair. The turn we go 125% the most on. And a 10 or a jack. So here on queen eye, on queen low low. Okay, so on queen low low with a flush draw, we can overbet. Most any actually it's tricky because I kind of want to say like all of the broadways, like you see the aces and the kings, right? Kind of the broadways, and then if you look at the other sides, it's like again the broadways, like the 10 and the jack. So it's ace king 10 jack. Any ace king 10 jack that are not completing the flush. Right? What else we can overbet? The 6. 6 was a very popular one.
How does this connect with our other note? When the nuts change on the turn, the more disconnected the texture is, the more you get to overbet. And that's not true here, right? Because on the ace we do a lot of overbetting and it's not disconnected.
Well, it's exactly the same thing, I'd say. The
Yes.
ace comes in, counterfeits top pair. So we overbet on it. Same thing with our best aces. So to me, it's the same exact same pattern. Where do you see the difference?
Change the 5 to an 8 so we see the range. I was reading something else. You're getting the Poker Stars is coming to Montreal, by the way, this year for
Really?
live events.
Really?
Mhm.
But they
They don't have them yet.
Ah, at the PG? Has to be at the PG, right?
It just said Ontario. Is that Montreal or is that Toronto?
Oh my goodness,
That's Toronto. You're
there's
Quebec,
no,
right?
yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to Toronto.
Oh my God, they're gonna go. Oh, I see. I see what they're doing. They're doing their pool thing. So there's a lot of over betting on 3, 5, 6, right? 3, 5, and then 6. 3, 5, 6.
I guess the best way to look at it, if the nuts change and how, is to look at the breakdown. You can see how the equity shift and how the nuts go from one card to a next to another in the breakdown percentage of, hands that have the nuts. And kind of in the report part. More nutted hands you have, the more bluffs you have. So the more strong hands you have.
All right. I feel like since we don't have a ton of deuces here, we may not be over betting as often. But we do have our best aces, ace king. I want to get super value. Um,
We could still bet really big with ace queen, right? As you
yeah,
said, or ace king,
yeah. I
like
feel like we're gonna check a lot here or bet big. So I feel like
So
this is a spot where we do over bet a lot. Huh?
I disagree. My
Why?
guess is the board is just it's paired for one, and it's very disconnected for two. So I don't think we have. I think we get to bet. We're gonna probably have a lot of we start going thin. Do we want to bet? I mean, maybe we have some thin bets, but our pairs under the ace, they're gonna check back some aces. So like kings can't go crazy here, right? Queens can't go crazy. Like some ace, some you have some, like you said, ace, king, ace, queen, but like the other aces aren't really all that valuable. Ace eight, sets of eights, like so there may be some overbet, but I don't think it's gonna be a high weight at all, like right for the range. I think it's gonna be much
So,
too small.
so you think we don't polarize, but we bet quite a bit here, something like 20%, just to get called by pairs?
Trying to think, like I guess our aces, like we're gonna probably bet a little bit bigger, maybe like 55.
Your aces want to get value here. They missed one street. They're good for 2 street. One big, one medium.
It all depends what we do with our kings, queens, jacks, tens. Like if they just always want a pure check, then we'll probably be more polarizing and bet our ace
Yeah.
X big, our sets
Kings,
big.
kings definitely are checking to keep the bluffs in.
So you don't think kings will ever go like small, like 20% or 33% here?
Negative.
Like some weight, right?
King benefits from keeping the bluffs in because maybe he starts to bet pocket 7.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
I'm interested in this. This is
So on this board, like because it's the rainbow 8, our opponent is gonna have virtually no hands that can beat an ace. Right? Like we're not afraid of 2 pair. So like what's our ace afraid of? I don't think it's gonna get to go very big here.
a lot of checking.
Only ace king goes big. Everything else is small.
Yeah,
Ace
that's where we
king.
have the biggest edge. Is the ace
Maybe a
king.
little deuce. It is
So yeah, we
ridiculous.
don't have a lot of betting at all, honestly. And that's because so the queens are okay, so the kings check, but your queens get to go. So your pairs do get to go kind of thin, right? The queens. Like I wasn't sure how the up pairs would play, honestly. That's why I was really confused. But you can go thin with your nines, tens, jacks, and queens.
Most
Yeah.
pairs are good check.
But the kings are like, to your point, are like pure checking.
Every
For
bad thing
later,
can
we
happen to the
cannot
king.
overbet.
No.
Ken, one way to think of it is that the queens, every bad thing that can happen to the kings has already happened.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like we can overbet here because our nines didn't get counterfeit. So all of our nines in our range are gonna wanna blast the supreme amount, right? Our nines that wanted to check raise the flop are still the best. He has no nines. This is, I feel like a spot where, do we check pocket tens here out of position? Think so, right?
Some
So
weight. We have overpairs all at some weight, right? The higher up they get, the less protection they need, the more they probably checked. So like aces probably checked a ton, and kings a little less. So we still have them to bet, right?
I feel like
And
on those 9-eye boards, as long as the nine doesn't get counterfeit, we're gonna be over betting the turns a lot.
On the
I
eight.
think this hand is a check, and I think that we bet our best 9x hands and our overpairs, and the weaker 9x will bet small.
Yeah, bluffs will be 10x, jack X, queen X, right? Like for big bets with our tens, jacks, and queens. Yeah.
Queen 8. Yes. Oh, it's betting small sometimes.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot of over betting as long as the top card is not counterfeit.
Well, the eight brings in a lot of draws too, right? So that's what's kind of important there. That really drove us up. So now we can, we have a lot of the value, our overpairs are sizing up, and then all the bluffs that connect around the nine and the eight get to go hand. The five brings in draws at the bottom end of the ranges. So your 10 low suited, your jack low, right? Like queen low, king low, ace low, they all get to go with match up with the overpairs.
Okay, so I wanted to write if the top card doesn't get counterfeit, then you can overbet a little bit more, but it's doing it on some 10x, king X. But sure is doing it more on the low cards, right?
So let's see. Is it those using jacks and queens some too?
So question number two,
So,
is it a thing
so
also on 10-eye boards?
I think when the over card comes into the 10, like they have bet their overpairs a lot. We checked them a decent amount. They probably are betting them like almost all the time. So now we have all those sets and those top pair uh better than they have them probably.
So these are on a 10-eye board, these are low straight cards, right? Six, deuce, three, then the other size is king. The king was good on a 9-eye board. It was good on a 10-eye board as well, right? What about jack-eye board?
So
Is the king gonna be good again?
yeah, I mean, I had mentioned that earlier, like because they don't have kings either. Like king is going to be like I think similar to an ace because they just don't have kings and aces. So we're gonna always have those top sets at weights they don't have them. It might even be with a queen as well. I'm not sure if they have, I don't think they have queens in their range. So if it's like if there's no straights on the board and a new top pair comes in where we have sets and they don't, it's gonna help us a lot. So yeah, queen's probably gonna be very similar.
Okay, with range composition,
So I feel like if a high card comes in that makes a set, if the set remains the nuts on a high card and we have it more than they do, it's better. We're gonna have that bigger bets, I think. So like it looks like queen, king, and aces, whenever they sets are gonna be the nuts, I think is when we have get to bet big.
correct.
So like now this brings straights in.
So we can overbet.
Well, I don't know. There's straights there now, right? So it's not exactly the same. I mean, we're gonna have bets, right?
He has queen 10.
But yeah, I think when the straight comes in now, the straight, so the top set's no longer the nuts, straight's the nuts. That's the clown what I was getting at there. Big bets, but not over bets. Medium bets here because they're straights. The straights are the nuts, not the sets.
Yeah, so against his check back, we want to push our equity, but we don't get to bet big. So our range wants to bet, but we don't want to isolate him.
And so we were talking about the 9x thing. All right. So, okay, we got a couple of good notes. Think on this for wrap it up. So, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and see you guys on Discord.